That's my clip. Got you all tired.
And welcome back. Nothing for real. To episode 114 of the Hit the Showers podcast presented to you by the Foolproof Entertainment Network. As always, I am your host, Clifford Jordan Jennings, here with my point man and co-host. I don't even know what to call this nigga this week.
The MVP.
I gotta give him something.
Why? What'd he do?
I don't know. I just can't go without giving him something. Fuck
Oh,
that.
okay. I
That's
thought you meant
Malcolm.
like
That
you had to give him some props or
nah,
something.
the LVP King, the least valuable player in this
Hey.
motherfucker.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling?
Shit, cool. We got Britt Dawson in the building. What's happening?
It's been a while. It has
Play the
been
lottery. Get your lottery
We've
tickets
been
out.
missed.
a
Right.
while.
But yeah, I didn't do too much last night. Yeah, we did that other podcast, but I didn't do too much. It wasn't like
You sure
I just
didn't,
been
did you,
tired.
Cliff?
I don't know why.
You sure didn't do too much talking about I'm gonna hop on the game, and sure enough didn't hop.
Nah. No, I did, but it was bullshit, and it did something, and I was like, I ain't dealing with this, and I hopped off.
What's going on? Yeah.
What better way? I mean, I guess we got to start the show off with the R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins. That's tough.
Yeah, that sucks.
Tragic.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when it hits you out of nowhere like that. And for the showerheads out there, Dwayne Haskins was the Pittsburgh Steelers backup quarterback, 24 years old, struck by, I heard a truck. I heard a car and a truck. I don't know what it was.
The
Dump
report
truck.
I read said a dump truck.
It was a dump truck.
Yeah.
I mean, that might.
Did you see what I put in the group chat? That's why I was asking that, because
Nah.
they're kind of like releasing some details little by little, but when I read the little bit that I did read was he was on the freeway. He was headed back to Pittsburgh because they were down there practicing. Like certain players were, like a group of players were down there practicing. So he was headed back to the airport, and and again, we're waiting on more details. Don't want to jump to any conclusions, but he stopped his car for whatever reason. Who knows? Could have broke down. Whatever reason, he stopped his car and he started walking on the highway. And then he went to I guess it was kind of like a narrow highway. And then he went to cross the highway, and that's when he got hit by a truck.
Damn.
Which made me bring up the question of, did he commit suicide? They haven't released that yet.
I mean, that. I feel like that's a fair question to ask, because if you're crossing the highway and you get hit by a dump truck, I don't imagine you didn't not see that coming.
See it coming down
unless
there.
you just ran immediately. You know what I mean? Like.
But you're talking about somebody who, and you never know what the situation. That's why we're waiting on more details to come out. And we don't want to jump to any conclusions.
Right,
but
right.
You're talking about somebody that has the sight, the vision to that gets chased all the time. So
That's the first thing that popped in my mind.
You have the foresight to see, okay, it's a truck coming, and I don't know what would make him want to try to outrun a truck, if that makes sense. Like,
right.
Play it that close instead of just waiting,
right.
Or I don't know. So like I said, it's there's a lot of questions that we probably need to get more answers to. And the sad thing about it is he had so much potential. He's one of those people that you just didn't know. You didn't know what direction he was going to go. You didn't know if he was good. Yeah, you didn't know if he was going to go up, like get really lock in and go up, or if he was going to kind of stay where he was. He had the potential to do either.
And you know what? With that being said, I will say, and I don't mean to speak ill of the dead by no means, but I will say he was also kind of reckless as well.
Mm-hmm, that's what I was thinking.
Haskins was also a bit reckless, and I don't know if I could rule out him trying to outrun a truck.
Now, when you say reckless, what is that in reference to? To give him that title?
Like, his game had a bit of recklessness to it.
Mm-hmm.
His attitude off field let me know he was a bit like what's the word?
With the COVID thing, with the strippers, or what are we?
Just, I mean, all of that. Like, all of that ties into the fact that I think that you could act without thinking in instances. And I don't care how many times we've crossed the street as adults, every now and then you don't think about it and you just dart out there, you know?
Right.
And I can
Absolutely
see him,
not.
and I can
I
see
do not
him
just dart out there.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, usually when we dart out there, we're aware of our surroundings and we're definitely not on a highway. If I'm on a highway, I am going to have a little bit more caution.
Right.
But out in my, like, in my neighborhood, yeah, I'll run straight out into the street. But usually I have a good understanding of what's coming around me before I do so. But I'm also not, basically what I'm getting at is I'm not looking left, right, left before I run out into the street, even as an adult sometimes, whether that be a neighborhood or not.
That's why I cannot back you on this one, Cliff, because I'm going to look both ways before I cross the street. Right. And it doesn't matter if I'm crossing a little side street, I'm still looking both ways. So I cannot run with you on that one. But to me, the key thing that kind of stood out was they said that he stopped his car for some reason. And again, the car could have stopped, but he did have a rental car. So it probably wasn't like, it was probably something that was decent. Not saying rental cars don't break down, because they definitely do. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, in a normal situation, if something happens to the car, I'm probably not going to get out and go far. Right. I'm not going to start walking. I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to, hit the rental. I'm going to stay in the vehicle. But that also depends on where the vehicle was stopped at, which we don't know yet. So there are things that I'm waiting to hear more details on, because if it's one of those things where there was nothing wrong with the car and he pulled the car over, to me, that would have been a sign of possible suicide. If he got out the car and then started walking across the highway.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, Florida's a crazy state.
Family and all that.
Florida's a crazy state. They always say like some of the most wildest things you can catch or see in Florida. Like Royal Star has a lot of stuff that happens in Florida.
Yeah, people from Florida can, I guess they could be labeled as a little bit more reckless than other areas, but he's not from Florida.
Right, he's
that
not.
I know of.
And the situation doesn't sound too Floridian. It just seems like an unfortunate accident.
Yeah.
I don't think that
freak accident.
Yeah, I think that the it's not a Florida story. It's just unfortunate that
happened in Florida, that happened in general.
Right.
And then again, you're talking early morning too. I'm assuming this is something that happened like really early in the morning. He's catching a flight and taking his rental car back. So, more to come. I'm sure they'll start releasing more and more. And if that is the case, they're going to be a little bit more sensitive and slow to release the details of that.
Right.
Because nobody wants to. You don't want that to be the case for your family member.
Right.
A lot of times. So just out of respect for their family, they may not say that. And listen, I feel like right now I'm the only person that has that theory. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, it could have just been an accident. Car could have broke down. He could have been like, hey, I see something across the way. I'm just going to slide over here real quick. But again, in this day and age, to not have your cell phone, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't quite add up.
I understand what you're saying. I definitely do, and that's why I said that's fair. That's definitely fair. That's tough, but fair.
Yeah, I don't like I don't want to hear about anybody passing away, but I definitely don't want to hear about my Buckeyes passing away.
Right. Especially at the age of 24.
Right, so young.
Coming up.
That's crazy.
12 years ago.
Yeah, all I can say is thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Well, I guess his family.
Hmm.
Family
I
and
know he was
friends.
married.
Yeah, he was married.
Did he have any kids?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Did he have kids,
I think
Malcolm?
he. Let's see. I think he did.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
double
tough.
check.
I did. I don't think he had kids, but I could be
He might
wrong.
have. Yeah, he might have not. I thought I seen it, but uh, nope, no kids. Yeah, you're right, Britt. He just had a wife, younger sister, and his parents.
Yeah, yeah. I feel sorry for his parents too, because that's a terrible
Right.
thought.
Never want to bury a child.
Right. Especially someone that you know that they're so invested in. Like
Right.
like his dad, they built him to do what he's doing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like on that LeVar Ball type stuff. Like, hey, this is what you're getting ready to be. So
I think one of the parts that got me was I don't know if it was ESPN earlier. It might have been ESPN on Instagram. They posted a video of Dwayne Haskins, and he was probably like 8, 9 years old. I guess he had a Buckeyes jersey on, and he's at the Buckeyes stadium in the locker room, and he was like, "I'm gonna be a Buckeye one day." You know, obviously, it came to fruition and played. So I was seeing that, I was just like, "Man, yeah, that's just terrible." Like,
yeah, it's so unfortunate, man. It's so unfortunate to see somebody so young pass away, and it's just like, and we don't know all the details yet, but it's like, could this have been preventable? To me, that's like what really gets me. Sometimes when you hear about young people passing, like, could this have been prevented?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If he would have stayed in his car, could it have been prevented? But again, it's just very. But then again, you never know too, because people get, swiped sitting in their car in
Right.
situations like that, waiting when they're on the freeway. It's just
If
a
it was
dangerous place
his
to be.
time, it was gonna be his time regardless, whether he stayed in the car or whether he got out.
Right, right. But then again, if it was a matter of suicide, and then you also wonder, like, what's going on in his head, to where, you just sympathize with him in the sense of like him not being able to make it past that moment, thinking that, he should end it all, if that is the case. And I'm saying if, because I do not know. It's just a possibility based off of what they've given so far.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's tough. I also seen a video, like, I guess the day before, him and like Najee Harris were clowning, just talking trash, whatever. And they were talking about how fragile life is, because 1 minute you're here, next minute you're gone. So I was just like, man,
What are the odds of that?
Right.
And I mean, you know what I mean? Like you sitting there chopping it up the day before with somebody, and then the next day, that's it. It's crazy.
That's deep.
Rest in
hard
peace,
time.
Haskins.
I mean,
obviously.
What was you about to say? We'll continue.
I was gonna say, not to make it a depressing,
No, we ain't gonna stay on the topic too long, but
it's just terrible. It made me feel some type of way for sure.
I mean, but
your mic keeps going in and out. I don't know if Cliff is hearing that, but like sometimes you're kind of hard to hear.
Where do you have it positioned? Is it to the side of you?
We can't hear you all.
But while he's handling his, I just thought it was like, if anything, and that's why you said that you never know what's going on in somebody's head, but if anything, I thought at least everything looked to be going up for him.
I mean, again, you never know what's going on in somebody's head from the outside looking in. To me, there was nothing that was like for certain, depending on what was on his mind. Football career, I don't feel like it was one of those things where he would never play again. So he had I felt like he still had the opportunity. He was still on a team, even though they brought in Mitch. Right. I mean, they never officially said that he didn't have the opportunity to get the starting position. I never heard it. I never seen the article. I mean, of course, it's implied.
They still gotta work, right?
Yeah,
they still gotta work, and I don't know. I guess that would make sense from a standpoint of like if you were training and you had a bad practice and you watching everybody else around you in your position succeeding. I don't know what that would do to somebody that may be in a depressive state, but
again, he's used to being in a position where he has to compete, besides at Ohio State. And again, he kind of had that in Washington where it was like, all right, here, you know what I'm saying? Like you're the starter, you're the guy. But at the same time, even if, let's say they went down there, they were practicing, he didn't have as good of a practice session as he thought he would, he still can, be the backup QB, and Mitch could get injured. Not saying, knock on wood.
Right.
But I mean, there was a lot of possibilities as far as having a positive outcome for him. So again, but I know if he were in a depressive mindset, that there's really nothing that you can do to kind of bring somebody out of that.
Right.
Per se. Not saying nothing. I take that back.
Right,
there are things that you can do, but maybe they don't feel like there's things they can personally do.
Right.
So, but definitely a sad beginning to the day to hear that he passed away.
Right. But we'll move on. What y'all think about the Chiefs moving on from Tyrann Mathieu or Matu?
Did the Chiefs move on or did he move on? I feel like that was more him.
He said from what it sounded like the Chiefs were the ones that did that. He was saying that he was hurt and all that by
their decision.
Right.
Yeah, well, he probably wanted some money too, but
that's definitely what it had to do with it, because they picked up what's the dude's name? Damn, I can't think of the dude they picked up for $31 million. And in his comment, he was saying like, if the Chiefs would have offered him the same contract, of course he would have tried to negotiate. But if they would have drew their line in the sand, he would have accepted that number.
Who?
Mathieu. About the young boys number.
Oh, okay. So he's basically like, if they would have the 31, he wanted more than 31?
Because he was making 14 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, and they just brought that dude in, I can't think of his name, for 3 years 31, which would have been a pay cut for him. That's why he was saying if they drew their line in the sand, I would have taken it, but I would have negotiated first.
Well, what is that? What is he saying when he says that? If they drew their line in the sand, like they're saying, like, this is all we're giving you, right? Is that what you're saying? Like they're saying?
Basically what it sounded to me is that he didn't have that. It never got that far.
Oh, well, shit. They probably know he wants some money. He's good at his position. He's going to want some money, and they got a budget. And I feel like the way that they're moving right now is like they're thinking a little bit more futuristic, in the sense of, and he's still young. So, he definitely could have been a part of their future. But I think they're thinking like, let's try to save a little money and bring in some people to kind of and build around them. Let's build something up.
I'm trying to look up the dude's name because that's going to bother me.
Was he defense or was he offense?
He's a safety.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, due to they to replace him. And
and sometimes, no offense to these players, I think sometimes they just be BSing too. Like they don't want to come out and say sometimes that they're trying to go somewhere else, so they just like, well, they didn't. We never had no meetings. Well, they probably didn't have a meeting with you because you made it clear that you didn't want to continue to be there.
Or you know what I'm saying? That little bit of money.
So it's like, it ain't no point. If this is what we got, just go ahead and go your way. But I mean, shoot, somebody gonna pick him up for sure. And he might as well go somewhere that, he want to be.
Who you think the best place? Where you think the best place is for him to go?
I wasn't sure, but weren't people talking about him going to the Saints? Like, as far as like, he from or he went to school at LSU, right?
Did he?
So, I thought he went to LSU.
You might be right.
And shoot, why not go to the Saints? They probably got, I don't know what they cap space looking like, but they got a little money. They got some potential there. They probably need
I don't know if they ready.
They got some potential there. I mean, for real. If they really need to.
Justin Reed.
I don't know.
That's the dude. That's who they got.
Okay.
From Texas.
Yeah, shit. At the end of the day, man, people. I mean, people was scoring on the Chiefs. They were in shootouts.
You right.
At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying. So clearly their power is in the offense, for the most part. So I mean, maybe they felt like let's not even get that up, especially if we giving up this many points per game. It's not like we a defensive team; we are an offensive led team,
right?
With a decent defense. So we ain't gotta spend all that money to have a decent defense. You gotta spend money. You gotta spend money to have a great defense, like the Rams did.
No, definitely. I think he should go. If I'm thinking about it, I think he should go to the Bills.
Now, why would you want him to do that? Are you rooting for the Bills? You want them to be a powerhouse? Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, that would be the final piece. Just because we talked about it last Saturday, I feel like that's the final piece the Bills need right now. Well, not the final, but they could get by if they got a good safety.
No, do not go there. Go somewhere else, please. I do not want to see them. I don't want to see nobody who I think is great pair up with Von Miller. I don't want to see it. I really don't. Go somewhere else, please. For the sake of the rest of the league.
Man.
For the rest of for us regular folks that want to squeak and get a win.
Listen, it's gonna be tough in the AFC. Deshaun Watson or not, it's gonna be tough in the AFC. I'm telling you. That's another reason why I want to get your take on that overtime rule too, because that's another reason why I kind of feel like if you're gonna do it, you need to do it through the whole season. Because if you look at how stacked the AFC is, every game's a playoff game from week 1.
Well, I'm actually not even familiar with the new rule. What did they? I knew they changed it, but what did they change it to? And what are the
both teams get an opportunity to score in overtime. So if a point is scored, it doesn't necessarily end the game.
Oh, if a touchdown is scored, it's not going to end the game. Well,
they still go.
Isn't that?
But
wait,
only
I
in
thought
the
that's
playoffs,
how it was.
Nah, remember it's based off the coin toss. So whoever wins, if the first team goes down and drives,
if they score a touchdown, if they kick a field goal, then the other team gets a possession.
But now they're giving them another possession in general. The team who got scored on still gets a chance to
come down and score.
Right.
I mean, that's cool.
But they're only doing it for the playoffs, which doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like if you're gonna do it, do it.
Nah, I feel it because that could potentially be a long ass game, and I don't know what I'd have to read more as far as like what the rule, how many opportunities they get. Is it a quarter, and then they get to redo it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because what is it, like 2 overtimes is the result of a tie or something like that? Like 2 ties at the yeah. So is that still in place? Like that's a big deal, and I feel like with the fragility of people nowadays, like you don't want to keep putting them through that. Like if you said, like you were just saying, like every game could potentially be an OT, you don't want to keep putting their bodies through that, especially since they already added a game last year.
No, I wasn't really saying every game could potentially go to overtime. I was just saying every game is a playoff game. When you have a division that's stacked, you have to win from week 1. Every time you go against somebody in your division, that has to be a win if y'all are planning on making the playoffs in a division that has that much talent.
Right. But at the same time, because people are going to be going hard and there is a lot of talent, it could definitely end in a lot of overtimes. So
no, that's correct as well.
It's cool, and they testing it too, so they'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's not giving any specifics on how it's set up.
And next year it could be a thing where it's just season wide too. You know how I felt. We had this argument. I think I was arguing with Mike during the season about this. You know how you got all sensitive about his Bills losing, and he wanted to change the overtime rules, and I'm just like, listen, young folks, you know, they always want to change something. They wanted to be fair, and I'm like, listen, first of all, life ain't fair, and second of all, you need to be uncomfortable when you go to overtime. That's what makes it exciting. You should be uncomfortable. You shouldn't have the same comfort level that you have during during regulation time as you do in overtime. Everything's on the line. So and I feel like that's why it was created. It was created to make people uncomfortable and short and sweet. Get it? Who's gonna get it done first? So my thing is, now you're talking, this is going back into this new society where they want everything to be fair. Everybody gets a trophy at the end. That's what I feel about that. Mike.
I mean, I don't know. I still feel like that coin toss is geared towards the weaker team.
What do you mean by that? The weaker team? Because the coin toss can go to anybody.
Right, but deciding it like that, I feel like favors the weaker team, because if the first team gets the ball and doesn't have to defend, all I have to do is score. It's almost like like I said, you won based on that coin toss.
Not really.
The weaker team has the advantage when it's decided by who gets ball first. That's why everybody always wants ball first. You don't never see nobody defer.
Right. Yeah, there is an advantage for whoever wins a coin toss, for sure. You know, that is, but again, to me, that adds to the excitement. That's what, you know what I'm saying, like, makes it exciting. That's what puts you on the edge. That's what makes you work harder. So now we got to get a stop. So to me, it's about being uncomfortable.
No, I definitely get that. You never wanted to go to the judges.
Yeah.
If you couldn't get a stop in the first 4 quarters,
why you deserve a pass now?
Yeah,
get your defense together.
I definitely get that.
Get your defense together.
Speaking of defenses, what y'all Browns got going on?
As far as what, you know, they still making moves, little baby moves here, and I'm gonna call them baby moves. I haven't seen them do anything exciting.
I haven't either. That's why I'm
lately. But you know what? Conspiracy talk. This is my conspiracy talk. With everything that was going on with the whole Oscar thing, you really ain't seen no move since then. Ever since the Oscars, you really ain't seen no move. No big moves. Before that, the weeks leading up to that, you saw all types of stuff happening. Oh, they signed Deshaun Watson. Tyreek Hill gets sent to the Dolphins. Like, all types of stuff was happening before that incident. And since then, it's been slow. So I just feel like
right.
I don't know if they're waiting to, get people's attention again, or what's going on, but you really haven't seen anything in over a week. Nothing major that I can think of.
And you think in your conspiracy mind, you think that they're waiting for the attraction to the smack to die down before they ramp it up again, or? Right.
Because they don't want to, they want their attention too. They don't want their stuff to go unnoticed. Of course, football heads are going to notice what's going on, but it's not going to be the leading excitement, because there's some people out there that I'm still waiting to see where they're going to sign, and I haven't heard any signs of where they may possibly sign.
There are a few names. Melvin Gordon's out there. I heard the Ravens are looking at him, and they need a running back for real.
You don't like Jacobs? I don't know that he's that bad.
Mm.
You know better than me because you watch all their games. But to me, I just
Not the
don't.
Raiders, not the Raiders, the Ravens.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Yeah,
said the
the
Raiders. That's why I
Ravens.
was like,
No,
you don't like because you
no.
guys got Jacobs, right? Josh Jacobs, right?
Yeah, but
Okay. Yeah, I was like,
even him, he's all right.
yeah.
But
Well, my thing with Melvin Gordon is he had a some good season, so to speak, but he's never been. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be mixing them up. But he's never been somebody that is like going to get you a bunch of yards. He was the guy they would throw in close in the red zone that would run it in. You know what I'm saying? Like, but as far as like games where, I mean, I'm sure he had a few, but nothing major. He's not that shifty running back that's going to get you.
I don't
We
know.
need a 15-yard run, 20-yard run. He didn't really break off for those like that. He's the best way to put it would be like he's not a Nick Chubb, he's not a Kareem Hunt. He's not that.
No,
He
he's not
racked up
that. He's
a lot of touchdowns when he was with Chargers. Who was he playing for?
he played for
Not last season. Where he started off. That's where
where
he
he
kind of was
started.
like.
Was it the Chargers?
He was playing for somebody where he would get those
But he
end
seemed like
zone.
he gets hurt all the time.
I don't necessarily think it's about being hurt. I just think it's about his production as a single back. It's just like he's not that spectacular, but if you get him in that red zone, he'll get you your touchdown. You know what I'm saying? But as far as getting you down the field, I just don't see it.
I don't think he ever he never lived up to his college career in the NFL.
Now I gotta look it up. I gotta look this
in college he had that 500-yard game or whatever. But
yeah, which
NFL it just never seemed like he could break away like that.
Because that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have that in the okay, so he currently plays for the Denver Broncos, but to me, I don't really remember, and I'm looking at his stat line. Okay, so so 21, he had 918 yards with Denver. He had in the previous year he had 986. Okay, so he did play for the Chargers. I ain't crazy. Yeah, he had a season in 2000. In 2017, he had 1,100 yards, 8 TDs. And then in 2016, he had 997 yards, 10 TDs. So for me, his specialty is getting in that end zone. Even in his worst year, which was 2019, he had 612 yards, but he still brought in 8 TDs. Because when he gets in that red zone, he will get in there.
He's probably injured that year too,
which is cool. I mean, for the most part, actually, his stats look pretty consistent. Like, he's gonna get you somewhere between 800 and 900 yards a game, but he's gonna get you about 8 touchdowns a year.
Right.
Like I said, to me, it's really just he's not like super elusive or anything like that. He just kind of pound it a little bit. But when he gets where he needs to be within that 20 yards, he's going to get you that TD.
I mean, I think that's a good pick for the Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, it depends on their options. I don't know what their plans are. As far as the draft goes.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what I was just about to say, I don't know what they have in the draft.
They couldn't really, does he even have Raven mentality? Because I feel like certain teams just have like a certain air to them. Like you got to kind of have a little chip on your shoulder a little bit. And to me, that's kind of I don't know. You've been hanging out in Denver. I don't know. I don't get that. But that does not mean he does not have that.
They got a 14, a 45, a 76, and a 100. So they got some. They're in a position to make some moves.
And then is that the best move that for them? I don't know. The Ravens really need to buckle down and start filling in some of those pieces, because I feel like they've let the years go by, and to me never really had a good wide receiver core.
Who, the Ravens?
Like they should. Yeah.
I agree with that as well.
Like, come on, y'all got a QB that has the ability to run and get the ball there in his own way. So it's just like, why are you not, putting people around him it's like, all right, if he starts running, y'all gonna have to get him, because I can't leave these particular wide receivers. They don't. Right. They haven't had that. Now, what is it? Marquise Brown play for them. I think they pick up Sammy Watkins or something like that. Which I like Marquise Brown. I think he's a baller. But everybody else, and they got Andrews, which you got to lock in on him. He like a Travis Kelce, maybe even could possibly be better this year than him.
So you think if you were in the boardroom for the Ravens with that 14,
which I would never be because I'm a Browns, but go
ahead. Or a Bengal.
Ohio.
You would, with that 14, you would go more receiver than running back?
Honestly, I would have to sit down and really analyze their team, unless it's probably the person that asks about this.
Right.
Because I'm sure he knows what they need from watching them day in and day out. Now, because they could need something on defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would really have to sit down. But if we're talking offensive and it's between so if we're just talking offensive and we got that 14th pick, I feel like I would definitely bring in a receiver over a running back. And I'm gonna tell you why. The only reason I would for them is because they can get by, and they've done it with the mediocre running backs. Not that, I mean, they've had some good running backs, but when they get them, they're kind of like mediocre, right? And what they got who they got, Dobbins? Or they still got Dobbins?
Yeah, they still got Dobbins. He just ain't been back yet.
Yeah, so they got Dobbins. A healthy Dobbins is decent. And my thing is, you already have a quarterback that could take off. So to be honest, the attention running wise is probably going to be on him. So I'm going to focus more on a receiver that can complement him possibly taking off, as opposed to them running the ball. Because if let's say they had access to a Nick Chubb, right? With the way that Jackson plays, he's not going to fully be able to be Nick Chubb, because then it would require him to kind of stand in the pocket and hand him the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't be able to take off like he did. What he was probably the leading rusher for them?
For Cleveland?
No, I'm talking about Jackson.
Oh, yeah, I believe so.
So then, like I said, so whoever's in that role is going to play a second fiddle to him for the most part, and they might slow it down just so he's not injured. But they're going to play, like, I just can't see I can't see his game being good if he's not running.
Well, see, that's exactly why I would go with the running back, is because he does too much running, and he's proven time and time again he's not making it through seasons running that much. So you need to, whether he's good at it or not, you need to take some of that running responsibility off of him if you want him to last through to get you a Super Bowl.
That's why you can do that with somebody mediocre. You don't. I don't need to go top tier to ease the pressure on him running. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can run with Dobbins if that's the case. So if I'm drafting, this is just me thinking if I'm drafting. So if I'm drafting, then I'm gonna go with the wide receiver. I'm gonna go with a wide receiver because I feel like they have not in years. In years, they really haven't brought in anybody that can kind of, get jiggy like that.
I definitely agree with that. I just don't know how much I like seeing him with the ball in his hands past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but you're not even a Jackson fan though, right? You're not a true believer in him.
I don't know if
You know,
I say I'm not a true believer in him. I just feel like he doesn't have the pieces needed. He has to do everything himself, really. If that motherfucker was fast enough, he'd be out there throwing to himself as well.
that would be a good highlight.
Throwing it from the pocket, taking off, and catching that motherfucker for a
That would be
touchdown.
that would be a great highlight. That's probably the future. Like, you know, when our kids are watching, they gonna be motherfuckers so fast and creative. They gonna do shit like that.
Right.
Throw the ball to themselves. That's like that's how they revolutionize the game, kind of like Steph Curry and the way he shoots.
That's a bad man. You can throw the ball to yourself with people on the field.
I feel like I seen a video on ESPN or something where they had where a dude did that. It was just him playing by, you know, in a field by himself. He threw that motherfucker up and caught it. So I mean, it's not out of the question. Again, it's gonna be, they gonna do something to revolutionize the game. Same way with basketball. They're gonna do something to start.
Whoever did that would have to have an amazing arm and legs, because you can't just throw it straight up in the air and run for it in a game, because then it's just like a punt. You're going to have 5-6 people in a huddle waiting for it to come down. You got to be able to bomb that motherfucker at the right trajectory for you to be able to get up under it on the
and
back
who's to even say that they gotta, if they did start doing that, who's to even say it gotta be some long shit? What if it's just a little quick, I'm about to toss this bitch up, run around here just to get free, and boom, you know, put some moves on them from there. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
more practical.
You just never know. That's what I'm saying. I'm just waiting for the next person to revolutionize the game, because somebody will do it.
That's more practical.
But yeah, like, just going back to what you were saying though, like with Jackson, I actually think he does have the potential to go all the way, as long as he sticks to what he knows he can do, and he keeps his confidence in that, because we've seen what happens when they try to change you. It never really works out.
No,
and I feel like Cam Newton is a good example of that. So I think if he sticks to what he knows,
I don't think they're changing. I just think they need to limit his touches. They have a lot of design plays to him, just like Josh Allen. They need to do the same with him. I don't care if you are able. You right now are our cash cow. You are our trophy horse. We can't afford to turn you into glue because you keep getting hurt every fucking season. So with that being said, we're going to sacrifice the extra 20, 40 yards you may put up rushing the ball to try throwing it or handing it off to somebody else, because you have to limit your opportunities at injury. And he hasn't yet.
Actually am. I'm so against that right now. I think that it's a hindrance. I think, and I, you know, just to kind of refer back to the NBA, I just feel like when you put that in some, like, you know, they say like what you think is what you become.
Right.
So when you start just like focusing on not getting injured, I feel like that's what happens. We've talked about this before, like how they focus so hard on players not getting injured, but they get injured all the goddamn time in comparison to like us watching basketball in the 90s and stuff like that. Right. Like, you know,
even football, they didn't get hurt as much as they do now.
Because I feel like now this, like, they're focusing so much on them not getting injured. It's almost like it's bringing the thought up into their head. So I feel like they should just kind of like, just like let them play and whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like certain people are made for it in the sense of like, of course you're going to get injured because it's a contact sport, but certain people are made for it to where they can survive for a certain amount of years and it not be that bad. So I feel like they should let him do his thing. Just put pieces around him, which I feel like they've been failing to do. Put really good pieces around him to finish the puzzle. They relying on him so much because they seen what he did with nothing almost, and it's just like, all right, well, you're just getting better, so go ahead and, you know, finish it out. Like, nah, he needs some help. If you want the ring, you need to build a little something up for him.
Right. No, I mean, I agree with that. I just don't know that I trust him to make it through a whole season with his current style of play. Like, when have you? So wait a minute, because what are we in, 26?
22. So with so this past season, you know, he had his injuries, but the season before that, he did not do that bad injury wise.
No. But you also ain't make it to the big game either.
What did he get? They got put out in what, the second?
Before the conference,
they got put out by, let me see, because that's when the Browns went. Yeah, I was gonna say that's when the Browns went, right? So he won the first game and got put out the second game. I could be wrong. I have to go back and check. But
I know they got put out by Buffalo.
That's the problem.
Bet on the game.
It sounds like it. I wanted to say they got put out by Buffalo, but again, that's the problem. He did that with basically the same team he had before. Where were the improvements for the Ravens? Like, where did they improve? That's what I'm saying. They're relying on him too much. And they trying to, like, you know, use him probably to save some money. Like,
I feel like that's
we can make it.
Point.
We can make it far, you know, without, you know, really putting up no killer contracts or, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So, you know, especially, like, you know, I don't follow the Ravens, but what moves have they made? I ain't seen nothing yet.
That's why. I mean,
wasn't they supposed to sign somebody and they didn't sign somebody? So, or, you know, I ain't seen nothing. So
yeah, I haven't either. I mean, but it's a lot of teams I'm still looking at. Like, what are you gonna do? You know,
I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, it's some teams I'm curious. Like, what are you gonna do? And I don't know when crunch time is. Maybe they're relying on the draft. That could be the thing. Like, they plan on making all their moves in the draft. I gotta see, because who am I curious about? I'm curious about the Saints. What direction they want to go in. I feel like even though they had an opportunity to make it to the playoffs, they were hard to watch for me, especially when what's the name, when Winston went down. It was like, oh my God. Right. It was just like kept letting people go back there and play QB that seemed like they never played QB before. I feel like what's the name kind of gave up, but he ain't.
Hill.
Nah.
He was
Alvin
awful
Kamara.
Back there.
Alvin Kamara. Right. I feel like he ain't really, like, you know, he's just going through the motions. Like, he did not want to play because he just knew it was some bullshit.
I get it. Now that's another thing nowadays. Why am I going to risk my injury for you to hand the ball off to me 20 times a game if we ain't going nowhere?
Right. So that's a team that I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I'm still a little curious about the Packers. I feel like they're not making any moves.
I agree.
When it comes to their wide receivers, but, you know, they could be relying on the draft again.
What would they have in the draft, though? Unless they've traded. Well, I know they got some picks with the Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
I'm trying to think other teams who I'm kind of waiting to see if they're going to make some improvements. Some teams I know, like, they just want this year is going to be a bust, and it's a rebuilding like like Seattle. They're not going. I would be very surprised if they made some shape during the regular season. So I feel like they're going to be the Jags this year, basically.
Jags is one that I'm looking to see. Like, I feel like you at least have to make an improvement. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
something.
Right, like I get that you're rebuilding. I completely get that, but it's been a year now. Add something to the build.
Wait, did they sign somebody? I feel like they may have signed somebody, even though I feel like it was like not a big name, but like a mid-grade name. I have to go back and look. I feel like they may have signed somebody though.
Mind. But I am waiting on them to make a move, just a single one, just one. You know,
we just want to see something.
Just one.
Let us know you're
like
still alive.
Kind of like the Jets. Make a move. Make a move.
It is very weird because I feel like if you really want to win, you would be out here moving and shaking. So we'll see what happens because
you know, it's going to be very annoying next year doing this show with Malcolm. But
With
I
Philly?
do think that Philly is going to make some moves in this draft that make people go, oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, they did better than I expected. So if they keep building, you know, that would be good. Couple new pieces, better pieces for them. To me, is that's a not a super game changer, but it's definitely moving in the right direction.
Right. I heard
Definitely
somewhere,
moving in
I
the
seen an
direction.
article, I can't remember where it was from, if it was ESPN or what it was from. They said that the Eagles aren't sure if they see Jalen Hurts as their long-term quarterback.
Who said that? Because this was the talk. This was the talk during the regular season as well. So I feel like whoever is saying that, it's the same people saying that.
Right.
I don't feel like this is, you know, and maybe he's not, but he should definitely be given the next 3 to 4 years.
I think so. I was about to say 2, 3.
So, you know, if he can't make none shake in 3 years, then you can start that talk.
He didn't do bad at all this year.
Yeah, I don't feel like he did bad enough to where it's like, all right, you gotta go.
They made it to the playoffs. They made it to the fucking playoffs.
They made it to the playoffs with, and you know what? I'm curious to see how he does this year. I want to know what Smith is going to do this year, because he didn't really do anything in my opinion. He impressed you?
He impressed me. It wasn't like he had a standout season, but just being out there. Remember, I was one of those people that said I don't see him making it too many weeks into that season without getting hurt, being that small out there. And then
you wanted him to eat.
Right, and then to see him do what he did, get hurt and put the whole shoulder harness on and still go out there and make plays, I was like, oh yeah, no, he's a dog. He's a dog. Now, I still want him to gain a few pounds.
I think he's a dog, but are you going to be special is what I need to know.
I think he is. I think he'll grow into that, not quite like the style of play, but the buzz. I think he'll get the buzz of like your Tyreeks and all that at some point. I do.
Okay. I didn't see the flash that I was looking for this year. Like, you know, so I'm looking, like, for me, the way I judge it is like I look for a flash, right? So if you're a rookie wide receiver and you have 3 games where you kill it, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's the flash I'm looking for. Okay, I need to see the potential, basically. So I don't know if I fully saw his potential. I'm still rooting for him. But I don't know if I fully saw the potential. And with him being undersized, I feel like I needed to see it.
Right. But I
needed to see something.
It's also tough to hold him to those same metrics when you take into account he's basically operating with a rookie quarterback as well.
Yeah.
Like, I get it's Jalen's second year, but at the same time, he played 2-3 games the year prior. That's a rookie quarterback, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I get it. And we know, you know, I know more than anything, a quarterback is going to decide how a wide receiver looks for the most part. So, again, I'm just waiting to see. Right. So, like I said, I haven't closed the door on him yet. I'm just waiting to see what it is I think he's capable of. You know, what we've seen of him in college. I feel like if he can figure that out in the NFL, I think he's gonna be good.
I think so. I think he's on the way. I mean, basically what I'm saying when he impressed me is he proved to me that he could do the same things that he did in college in the NFL. Like, his speed, his quickness, all that is still at the same, like, people are still a step and a half behind him, even at the NFL level.
I mean, that's good, but again, it has to translate. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fast receivers that just don't necessarily have the stats to go with it. So to me, that's right. I just got to see it translate into something in the NFL, because when he would play in college, it's like, can somebody stop this dude? Right. That's how I felt. can somebody stop this guy? Please. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I want that same reaction in the NFL.
I hate defending the Eagles too, if I'm being honest, but I do feel like a lot of that is Jalen Hurts, and not necessarily Jalen Hurts doing anything wrong. But if you remember in a few episodes, I've been repeating myself. Jalen Hurts, because he's so young, he has to get rid of his comfort blankets. His comfort blankets was Ertz before they traded him and got Goddard. And then it was Jalen
Ertz
Smith.
Didn't do jack. You sure? Because I feel like Ertz didn't do shit.
It was like anytime he got into trouble, it was either going to Zach Ertz or Javonte Smith.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that doesn't lead you to break out. You know, like if you're throwing it to me off of you in the panic, then that clearly lets everybody else know I'm not in stride of my route. I got to help you out and make the catch and try to dance for some yards. But if you hit him en route, I feel like he's always a step and a half ahead of whoever's on him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I do feel like we know rookie QBs and tight ends go hand in hand. That little short dump off when you don't feel like you got enough time to keep reading the field. So I get it. But I mean, again, they're like you said, they're both learning, and they'll hopefully grow into each other. And as what's the name gets more comfortable, which I feel like he did as the season went on, I feel like he got better. Not Smith,
talking about
Hurts,
right?
Yeah, I felt like he got better. So I mean, you can just, and he has the desire. So I mean, he should keep getting better. For sure. He should keep getting better.
I think he will. I think this year is going to be a lot tougher for him, you know, now that, once again, people got film on you. That second year is completely different.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see. With that being said, I feel like that's another reason why they need to add some pieces. Because you have to become more dynamic if you're going to be in your second year and people are going to be trying to play you now, based on your traits.
And that's a team that I feel like needs a solid running back.
The Eagles?
Yeah. Like that's a team that I feel like needs a solid running back. Who did they have?
Miles Sanders.
Even well, I thought Sanders.
It was another dude too, though. I can't think of who the other dude was.
I can't think of who it was either. And to me, it was like they were chugging along, trying to make that push, but they never quite had the games that I would want them to have, if that makes sense. Like the 150-yard games with a couple touchdowns. They need somebody like that. Every team needs somebody like that. But, you know, to me, with them kind of being like a gritty team, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like certain teams to me are kind of like, don't get your hand, like, you don't want to get dirty. Like, that's how I look at the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a clean-cut team. And I look at the Eagles like they don't mind getting dirty. So I feel like they need a running back with that same mentality. Like, I'm about to go out here and bust them up on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind being dirty after this game type deal. I don't want the dump off passes. I want to run through some people. So I feel like they need to get somebody with that type of mentality to be their running back. And that would help them out a lot.
I think he may be running back spoiled.
Who?
You.
Why?
Because y'all had Nick Chubb and motherfucking Kareem Hunt in Cleveland, and you got spoiled with the run game. But I don't think that this era of football is too much designed for that style of play. I think that style of play is successful, but for whatever reason, the league has strayed away from it.
Well, here's the thing. This is how I look at it. If you don't have, and it's going to be rare to have, if you don't have that top tier QB in Patrick Mahomes, somebody that knows how to make something happen, the Jacksons, the Aaron Rodgers, you need a good running back. I don't care what type of game it is. You need a good running back. You need somebody to take some of that pressure up off Jalen Hurts, because he doesn't have the best arm yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not the best passer yet. Mm-hmm. You need somebody to take that pressure off of them. You know what I'm saying? So you got to spread it around. That's why you need those good tight ends and those good wide receivers, because that's going to take the pressure off of one person. Certain players do well with handling. Like we was talking about Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. Even I'm saying I'm putting Aaron Rodgers in there, but I'm still a little shaky because I feel like he needs a running back too. He can't get out there and do his thing without one. So if most of these players need a good running back, then what you think that Jalen Hurts need? That he ain't there yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you somebody middle tier like Ben Roethlisberger, you need that good running back.
They try and use him like they try and use Lamar Jackson. He got to throw, run, and pass to himself.
No. And that's the thing, too. Like, to me, that's what the Bills are missing. The Bills are missing a really good running back. Like, no offense to Singletary. He's okay. You know, towards the end of the season, he started having better games, but I need a running back that potentially could rush for, like I said, 150 yards, give me 2 touchdowns. I need the running back that has the potential to do that a couple games out of the season. And for me, the Bills, they don't have that.
Not in Singletary or Zach Moss.
No. And Singletary had a couple good games this year, but like I said,
he wasn't consistent. He wasn't consistent by any means.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Commented and tagged me in a post about, I guess it says Lamar Jackson slams Adam Schefter for insensitive comment about
Dwayne Haskins. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, because he was just like, you know, they always do this to us when it was something about, you know, sad news, he passed away. I forget. He basically said something about him being with Washington or something like that, or struggling. I can't remember. It was just like, it's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not football talk. We're not talking about him playing football. We're talking about him not being alive anymore.
Right.
So, you know, it's just how they always do. Little droplets of disrespect subconsciously all the time.
Because you lame as fuck.
So Malcolm is commenting. He's not actually on the cast.
He said he trying to bow out. He said he must have a short in his shit. So I guess that was a reason he thought not to hop back on. I don't know.
We don't like it.
Right. I definitely don't.
We don't like it. Especially when I just had to talk about the Eagles for 10, 15 minutes.
Without
you know, I don't want to talk about them suckers.
I mean, but they headed in the right trajectory. I like the way they looking. I do like the way they looking. And right now, let's be honest, that NFC is wide open. Wide open. That's probably why Tom Brady came back. He said, "Oh, everybody going over to the AFC. I'm guaranteed a win coming out. I do that. I come back."
I can get you guys to the playoffs again. Right. I feel confident. We're not really losing. They're not losing too much. Yeah. He feel good about that. Man. He feel real good about that.
That's why he came back. But, I mean, it ain't like you said. Since Chris Rock got slapped, it ain't really been much in football that I can
ain't nothing been happening. You know, I'm still waiting on my former Browns to pick a place. I'm still waiting on Odell and Jarvis Landry to decide where they go, because I feel like they might go to the same place.
I mean, would you want Odell back?
Absolutely.
Do you think he would be back in time to make a difference?
I would be okay with him coming back, because what are you probably looking at mid-season?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I would be okay with that, because really that's when he got to play this year, even though he, you know what I'm saying, like he wasn't getting no touches when he was playing for the Browns. He didn't start getting touches till he left mid-season and went to LA. So It would be no difference. And then with us having Amari Cooper, I'll be completely fine with that.
Right. Especially
I would be completely.
Jarvis Landry back.
Yeah, if we got Jarvis Landry back, Amari Cooper, and Odell Beckham Jr., I would be very satisfied with that.
That would be a decent wide receiver core. I don't care what nobody says.
Like, yeah, you should be able to make something happen with them.
I don't care how fragile Odell Beckham is. That's a decent wide receiver core.
Yeah, it would be more decent than what we have now. I'm waiting to see what they plan on doing, because they got some spots to fill. Because they let a lot of not that they was like the greatest wide receivers, but they let some of them go.
Y'all still got Peoples-Jones, don't you?
Do we still have Peoples-Jones? I have to check and see. I think he's the only one we do still have.
I mean, I feel like he's definitely something. He was on his way.
Yeah, he's straight. He's young. I was just trying to see if we still had him. Yeah, we still have him.
Yeah, I mean, y'all gonna be all right regardless.
We still got him.
Even if y'all don't get Jarvis and it's just Amari Cooper and Peoples-Jones, y'all got a nice little 1-2.
I still need somebody else. Somebody else.
You would like it.
I'm not crazy about it because I thought my phone was about to die. I'm not crazy about it because of it's no depth there. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, Peoples-Jones is young enough where he's up and coming, so he could definitely have the potential to be great. And no telling how he's going to do with a new QB. But with Amari, I got to see if his fire is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of those people who I question his fire. And I need somebody that wants to win. And then at the same time, I need to, if he gets injured, who's going to come in and replace him?
Right.
And I don't want no half-ass young rookie wide receiver. Not saying a rookie wide receiver can't be great, because they definitely can. But, you know, I want somebody that has potential to be great. So I don't want no third-round pick coming in as the second-string wide receiver, because we don't have anybody anymore.
That's how Peoples-Jones got into his position.
Listen, but Peoples-Jones came in and we still had people there. We still had the Odell Beckham Jr.'s. We still had the Higgins. We still had the Jarvis Landry. So I'm cool with him coming in that way. But I don't want you to come in and you're going straight to the field. Nah. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I know that they were talking about possibly, I know they were trying to, you know, get some Watson's players over that he feels comfortable with, like Will Fuller. And I really do like Will Fuller. I think he's a great wide receiver that is constantly injured. If he wasn't constantly injured, you know, you would definitely be saying his name often, you know, like in the sense of like maybe not top tier like he's Javonte Adams, but you would put him top 10 for sure. If he could stay healthy. A healthy Will Fuller with a quarterback that can get him the ball, to me, is a top 10 wide receiver.
That's a lot of ifs.
I know. You've seen potential of it when he came in with Houston. He had great games, but he just could not stay healthy to save his life. He's injury prone for sure. So even if they brought him in, I mean, that would be cool, but I need them to bring in someone else, because I don't trust him to do a full season. I don't even see him, like, I would be surprised if he could do half a season. It's like a Grant Hill to me.
Them is the kind of, you can't afford that.
And I feel like they are trying to accommodate Watson by trying to bring in somebody that he's familiar with, but he might just have to go with the flow for real. Because, I mean, to me, the wide receiver core that we had last year with Beckham, with Jarvis Landry, Higgins, Peoples-Jones, and you throw in David Njoku, who I think is very underrated. You should be able to get one of them the ball. For real, for real. You should be able to get one of them the
I don't
ball.
think Deshaun Watson is going to have the same issues that Baker Mayfield had.
I know, but he is also not coming into the cast that Baker Mayfield had either.
Right.
And then you got to worry about too. Watson hasn't played in a year. That's huge because we know the NFL don't stop moving. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta be sharp. And I don't know that he was been playing every day.
I don't think he never. I don't think he stopped training.
I hope not, but you just don't know. And then if he was training, who's to say he's training as hard? And I don't know that anything can really train you for games. You know, really train you for game situations. Because I think it's completely different to have a whole field of people as opposed to you going out and passing to two people. You know what I'm saying? And then you ain't got the defense. I don't really feel like you can really train for an NFL game.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with that 1,000%.
So we gotta deal with that. But
my whole point with that though, not to cut you off, but my whole point with that though is when you come out and you make a bold statement like I'm not playing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is the motivation to train, right? Because you know what comes with that. You know they gonna try and fuck you for that. So you have to be at your best, your elite level ready, because you may only get the Cleveland Browns. And that's not a sin to you. I'm just saying, like, Texas was pissed about that. Then all the charges got dropped. We didn't really throw a wrench or a banana in your tailpipe like we tried to, because you said you wasn't playing this season anyway. So all that litigation only held him up. It only kept him entertained while the season went on.
But he didn't say he didn't want to play that season. He said he didn't want to play for Houston.
Right.
And Houston said, well, shit, you ain't about to play for nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it was like that I'm going to teach you something from them, as opposed to just being like, because honestly, he could have played. There's nothing that could have stopped him from playing without being convicted of anything. There was potential of conviction, and the media had just shaped our heads to thinking, oh, because there's potential of him going to trial, that he can't play. There's no rule about that. Right. There's no rule that says you can't play because
criminal charges, because he wasn't up on criminal. But I think once they take you up on criminal charges, they can choose to do what
he could have played. The only reason he didn't play last year was because he did not want to play
for Texas.
For the Texans, and the Texans did not want to see him play for someone else.
Right.
If they would have been cool about it, like, all right, you don't want to play for us, we getting you up out of here. And they were acting like they were, because they were in talks with a lot of people. If you remember, they were in talks with a lot of teams, but they just like kind of gave like the excuse of, oh, well, you know, none of the deals really appealed, or, you know what I'm saying? Some bullshit,
right.
Which basically was like, nah, we're going to make him sit out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even getting ready to deal with him going somewhere else and potentially doing well. Like, nah, you going to sit out a year until we figure out what we want to do.
And almost fast forward 4 months later, he on the Brownies.
Yeah, not even 4 months later. It was definitely longer than that when you think about how long this thing has been going on.
Yeah.
But we already knew, because before it was happening, we were like, what is going on in the Texans organization to where they are? First of all, we knew something wasn't right when they got rid of Hopkins. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a nigga that you get rid of.
Right.
So it's like, we knew something wasn't right then. That's not somebody you get rid of. That's not somebody you shouldn't. Your star player shouldn't be requesting trades. What did he requested a trade, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Your star player shouldn't be requesting a trade. Why are your star players requesting a trade? What is going on within your organization to where they're requesting a trade and then you honor it? That's crazy. Because I would have been like, no. I'm not letting you go.
But they can't keep doing that, right? And Hopkins, I don't want to. If you got a guy like, I'm not saying I know either of these people personally, right? But you almost know how close a quarterback has to be with coach in the organization. Like, to the point that they know him a little bit more. When you look at like a Hopkins and he says he wants out, I think they immediately go to their little black book to check to see what they got on him as well.
Right.
And if they don't know him like that, they like, fuck. I mean, well, I guess we just gotta let him out.
Now, when you say know him like that, you mean like they can't find any dirt on him, or what are we saying?
Right. Like, you can't find no dirt
they can't find nothing to.
Because we all know
possibly.
you can find dirt, but we can't find no dirt that sticks. Now, I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson did anything while he was getting massages, but what the team knew was that he was getting massages. You feel what I'm saying? He's close to the organization. The coach even tell him, go get rubbed down after this game.
Don't you just feel like it's... Sorry to cut you off, but I was just thinking, like, don't you just feel like it's just so ironic that the NFL troubles often come with these massage allegations? Like, okay, I could understand if it was a one-off, but AB was supposedly doing the same thing, right? And then even the what was it, like the owner of the Patriots,
Robert Kraft, right?
Because it's like, come on, man, like this is the only storyline y'all can come up with. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not even saying that they're getting escorts. They're getting massages and then doing inappropriate things. And then when you get to reading the stories, it's like, man, this doesn't even seem normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this don't even seem like some shit somebody would do in the sense of just like.
I don't know. I feel like there's truth to every tall tale.
Man, I disagree.
And
I truly disagree.
And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying that people are doing, like, crazy shit in massages. But at the same time, I am saying that I'm sure crazy shit happens in massages. I'm sure, listen, it's mandatory.
Oh, I'm sure it can.
Mandatory
I'm sure it
to
can
get
happen.
those massages after games. And I'm sure there's some hot to trot massage therapists that are like, these are NFL players, I'm bopping. And I'm sure the owners also see that and think that they can have the same treatment. And that's where you get a Robert Kraft taking place. But with everybody knowing all of that information, it makes it that much easier for an organization to say something inappropriate was going on in that massage with Deshaun Watson. Once again, I'm not saying he did anything. I'm just saying it makes it easier it's the Emmett Till syndrome, where somebody says to a black man did something to me. It's the oldest story in the book. Wasn't that what Green Mile was? They accused him of rape and he didn't have nothing to do with it. Like, that's the oldest story in the book, so it makes it easy to pin something like that on you, especially as a black man, when they have all that information.
Here's the thing, though. And I haven't, so I gotta put my disclaimer out there. I haven't read the details of the Deshaun Watson cases as far as like what the girls were claiming, but from what I read, it was weird. Like, it wasn't normal. It wasn't like, he went and got a massage and afterward we started bugging. It was nothing. It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying?
One girl say that he asked her to put his fingers in her fingers in his butt.
Right. It'd be weird stuff. Like, even like with AB, you know what I'm saying? Like the massages that AB were getting, from what I read, was like, all right, come to my house and, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need somebody to give me a massage. I'm gonna pay you basically like this amount of money, almost like put you on salary. Like, you just, this is what I'm paying you for the next couple months to come to my house and give me a massage. So these are not even like facility led massages. This is like what they're doing on their own personal time. And then, like, according to the girl with AB, I think somebody said like he basically was almost like he would give a massage, maybe they had sex, but it was like willingly, and then she didn't get paid or something like that. Like I don't remember the details, but I mean I don't consider that like not normal. That could definitely happen.
Right.
But from like with the Deshaun Watson thing, like it just seemed a little abnormal. What the stories seem a little abnormal. It was kind of like with the whole with Bill Cosby. The stories that I read, not saying that it wasn't it couldn't happen, but it was just like, this is odd. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not what I would be expecting if you were getting knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Like, I remember with the Bill Cosby thing, I read some of the stories, and it was like, one girl was like, you gotta be, you know, this is just what I read, and I don't know how factual it is. Just to put that out there. It was like she woke up, and he was like using her hand to like jack him off.
Right.
What are you knocking somebody out to do that for? You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like odd to me. Like, so I'm gonna knock you out to jerk myself off. I'm gonna use I'm still gonna put in work here. Like, I just want to use your hand for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just was odd to me. Cause it's like, well, what am I doing all this work for? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, and then it would, the crazy part was, it would be like stories like, oh, well, you know, I went over to his house or his hotel. It was like 12 at night. And you know, I took something, or he gave me something. And then when I woke up, he was using his hand to jerk him. He was using my hand to jerk himself off. So his hand is over their hand, and he's jerking. So wait, I mean, so he's knocking you out to get a hold of your hands? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like weird little encounters that I just didn't fully understand why people would go to certain extents to do that. It was just weird. You know what I'm saying?
You never know, though. You never know at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to put nothing on Bill or anybody like that.
Yeah, I mean, anybody's capable of anything, but then at the same time, it's just like, all right, so now you have these Black men in these positions that they work really hard to get to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a special mindset to get to where these people are.
Right.
And then you're telling me that on the outside of this strong mindset, because you have to have a strong mindset to get to the level of Bill Cosby, to get to the level of Deshaun Watson or AB. You know what I'm saying? Like, something in your brain has to click to get you to that point of being a top tier, whatever in your field.
But on the maybe it's sacrifices, right? Because with that being said, with you spending and dedicating that much time into your craft to be as great as you are, I feel like you're sacrificing a lot of social communication that normal people with more time on their hands may receive.
All right, so let's say you did, right? And you never know.
Not factual, I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying, like, let's do hypothetical. The part that I don't understand would be, okay, so there is this one football player. I think he's actually still in jail for raping women, like drugging them and raping them. He had a legitimate case when I read about it. Like, he drugged the women. They would wake up. They would be naked. He would be naked. He would be on top of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Doing his thing. So I'm like, that's what you kind of like normally expect in these situations. He went to jail for it. Think he might still be in jail, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's Darren Sharper. I think that's what his name was, Darren Sharper. So, yeah, that's what you would expect. But then, like I said, it gets weird when they're saying they're waking up, what they're waking up to. So it's like, all right, if you are at that level, why do you need to put somebody out that's more than likely you've already slept with, right?
Maybe she
woke up too early. to get a hand job though.
Maybe
you know
she
what I'm
woke
saying?
up
Like,
too early. Like he was planning on doing more. That was
he
just him.
started with the
Right.
hand job.
You know?
Okay.
I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
it's a possibility, but then the thing too with the Bill Cosby case, these girls were coming back. It wasn't like a one and done. It was like
See, that's more where my mind goes with the Bill Cosby shit. Is this? I mean, especially back in those days. Let's keep it a buck. Now we know motherfuckers was popping Quaaludes for fun. So I think it was more so consensual everything. Yes, drugs were involved, but consensual everything. And then one day you get a knock on your door from somebody with a briefcase and a trench coat, and he's like, "This is yours if you just say."
Just agree to
Right. I
this,
think that's
that, and the
how
third.
that's how all of this works. It's not like not all of it. I'm not saying it like that, but I'm just saying like when you're going after somebody that big, there may be some truth sprinkled throughout. But I do think that people try to overly manipulate a situation until you start to question somewhat.
And that's the thing, especially when you're dealing with a case of like rape and drugging people, it's one of those things like once you get accused of it, whether it's true or not, your character is pretty much damaged. You know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty much damaged. It's really, it's not much coming back from that.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like you can't even come back from it. First of all, once you put it out there, people hear it, it's always going to be in the back of their mind. And then two, most people don't do their research to really fully understand what's happening in the cases, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a terrible label.
I mean, but with that being said, I mean, you got to know you're a target at that level, I would imagine. It's almost like how you move differently, like at your job, than you would.
But you might not even know that you're a target. And here's the thing, too. Because of the success of these men, you start to feel like you're the exception to the rule. What OJ say in that OJ documentary, not the OJ documentary, but the OJ movie, whether it was true or not, they was like, he was like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Like in his head, it's like it's not. He wasn't even black. He's his own race. He's his own person. Like you know what I'm saying. His status is so great. His status is so great. Like you can't put me in the category with other black people or that other black man. Like, so I feel like even though you got to be like, okay, you got to know you a target. At the same time, they feel like, well, I've made it over all these barriers already, and we all know there's an ego with athletes. You know what I'm saying?
Way to put it.
From college on, especially if you're good at what you do. So I can see how they can let their ego overshadow them thinking that they could possibly be a target.
Right. No, that's a good way to put it. But let's move on. We'll move on from that. I just want to recap the Gennady Golovkin fight. He fought Ryota Murata last night, and he got the TKO stoppage. I think it was in the ninth round. He's now 44-2, only 2 losses to Canelo Alvarez, 42 KOs. Ryota Murata is now 16-3 with 13 KOs. But this fight got him the opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez again with that win.
Third time to charm.
Yeah, he also unified. But my whole thing is he's 40 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that he does not still have skill, and I think he got with who's the trainer, Keith James or Kenneth James or something like that. And you can tell he has a lot more head movement that he didn't have fighting before. I don't know that helps because I don't know if he has enough gas left in the tank to deal with Canelo Alvarez at this age.
Yeah, I hate to, put somebody in a box, but if you didn't beat them the first 2 times and you were younger, and then you hit 40, and anything's possible. Right. Let me say that anything is possible, but you hit 40 and try to do it for the 3rd time. It's probably just about the money,
right?
At this point,
right?
It's probably just about the money.
But at the same time, you 44-2. You don't get to 44-2 for nothing, 40 or not. So he may still have something left that I'm not seeing. But I was watching the fight, and he looked good in the fight. Don't get me wrong. He looked good in the fight. It just, he didn't look like he had gas to stand with Canelo anymore.
Possibly. And another thing I didn't want to take away too is this could be very personal for him. You know what I'm saying? If you go your whole career and you only lost to one person,
right?
Like you may have a chip on your shoulder. So it's like, I gotta beat this guy. So this may be the reason why. I'm sorry. This may be the reason why it will be a good fight because of he knows that this is it. This is everything. This would sum up my career if I can pull this off.
He
not
should
saying
retire after that.
Yeah, like not saying that it would discredit Canelo's first 2 wins, but it would be like
it definitely discredit the first one. The first one, I don't even know if he won it.
Okay.
I don't even know if Canelo won it. It was big controversy after the first Canelo win. Even one of the judges that got him the win was suspended from judging for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
I can't think of her name.
What
Rosa Perez
it was like
or something like that. Rosa.
It was like the scoring.
It's Rosa something. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I understand where she was coming from. The points were just it was like a too drastic of a gap that they had. I think she had him by 4 rounds or something crazy like that. It was a very even fight. And for her to have it by 4 rounds was crazy. But I also understand if you're looking for something specific. Because the thing is, what people don't get with the boxing judges is a lot of times they'll pick people that are good at looking at certain things. She was looking at the fight from a defensive standpoint. And defensively, I would have edged Canelo out because he was making him miss a lot more than Golovkin was. Golovkin was more eating punches. Canelo was slipping them and punching back. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, I can see you edging him out. 4 rounds is ridiculous. And she did get suspended for that. I thought it should have been a draw at the very least. But I could see somebody saying Golovkin won that fight. And in the second fight, Canelo won it clear. I don't care who says what. Canelo won that clear. So third fight.
How many rounds they go in that second fight?
Second fight. Well, all of them went on 12. Neither one of them is getting knocked out. I don't think either one of them been dropped before. So yeah, every fight, both fights went on 12. But this last fight, if 40-year-old Gennady fighting a prime Canelo might put him out of there. I don't know. It'd be very hard, but that's possible. I'm just, I'm nervous for him. I don't even know if he gets that fight, to be honest. I don't know, but it might end up being mandatory. But other than that, and we'll wrap it up, Ryan Garcia makes his return after his depression that kept him out the ring. Ryan Garcia, 21-0, 18 knockouts, 23 years old. He's fighting Emmanuel Tago, 33-year-old, 32-1 with 15 KOs. I think this is an interesting fight for him to come back on. I definitely think it's a little tougher of a fight than I expected for him to come back on. If I'm being honest, I kind of respect him for that.
Is that tonight's fight?
Yeah, that happens tonight. I don't know what the provider is on that.
Okay, I know my boyfriend was talking about there was some fights tonight. I think it's like UFC and boxing, right?
Yeah, there is a UFC fight. I didn't write it down. I don't think I didn't look into it enough to really be talking about it, so I didn't write it down. But other than that, on Showtime pay-per-view, Erickson Lubin, 24-1, 17 KOs. His only loss is to Jamal Charlo, I believe. He got knocked out to Jamal Charlo. He's fighting Sebastian Fudora. He's 6'5", 18-0, and 1 draw with 12 knockouts.
Wait, he's 6'5".
Yeah,
this is not heavyweight?
No, he's a 6'5". I think they fight middle. They fight at 154.
Okay. Oh. Ooh, yeah. 154. You should not be 6'5", 154.
Listen, he's 6'5", 154.
That is extremely skinny.
Right.
That's
right.
Kevin Garnett out there.
Like, listen. But he 18-0 with 12 knockouts. He definitely to be that tall. He
got
I
reach.
Like his style.
Yeah, he got reach. He can't. He probably ain't letting nobody get in. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably not.
He doesn't have bad inside fighting. It's not awful. You would think for him to be that big, he couldn't fight on the inside at all, and he can. It's gonna be an interesting fight, but I do think Erickson Lubin gets that.
Okay, well, I'll probably watch it tonight for sure.
I don't know what I'm doing tonight. If I'm being honest, I probably won't go nowhere. That's probably the only way I watch either of those.
I'll give it a look. I know I ain't going nowhere.
I'll probably catch that on the back end, if I'm being honest. But yeah, them is the only two main fights. Of course, there were undercards, some that were honorables that I felt I could mention, but I didn't really.
When's the next big fight?
So that's a good question. And that's up next fight coming up next weekend, April 16th, is Errol Spence Yordenis Ugas. That is for a unification fight. That'll give Errol Spence 3 of the 4 belts, with Terrence Crawford having the last one. So that sets up the Terrence Crawford fight. Either way, really, if Ugas wins it, he said he wants Crawford next, and Spence already said he wants all the belts. So hopefully we get the Crawford fight after this if Spence pulls it off. That's next Saturday. And then Javonte Davis fights Rolly Romero. I think that's May 28th.
Is Rolly worth it? Because you know how they do. You know how that Davis camp do.
Right. I don't think that he's the fight that Davis needs. But Davis says that he thinks Mayweather's setting him up with this fight because it's his last fight under Mayweather Promotions. And Rolly
What's he mean by that?
Rolly's a Mayweather fighter.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to make his money across the board.
Right. He trying to say basically if he beats me, that's because Mayweather wanted me to fight him to keep his shit in house type shit. But I also feel like knock him out. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, because at the same time, if he's leaving Mayweather Promotions, like he's not re-signing with him, I'm sure Mayweather wants the other guy to win because he's going to be under his, you know what I'm saying, management, and he can keep his stock hot.
He still get a payment. He still get a payment off of that if Rolly win. It takes
like if you leave
payment stop.
Yeah, you leaving me, I got somebody who I'm gonna push the way I was pushing you. He gonna be
But
the next.
I don't think Rolly experience wise is ready for Tank. He's a good fighter. All the real fighters call him a bum. But in my opinion, he's a good fighter. He's just inexperienced. He beat Ryan Garcia in sparring. That's what he's famous for. He beat the shit out of Ryan Garcia in sparring. I ain't even gonna stunt that. He little boy.
We'll see what Davis does. I actually like him as a fighter. But,
I do too.
You know.
And I think what you see now is now that he's out from under Mayweather, he can be a free agent. He can do exactly what Canelo does and say, I'll take a 2-fight deal with ESPN if you give me Lomachenko and George Kambosos or whoever y'all got over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you see him get the actual good fights. Because he said he wanted to fight the winner of the Devin Haney, George Kambosos, and that's for Undisputed.
Did he officially say that he was not re-signing with Mayweather?
Yeah, yeah, sorry, it's done. It's done deal. They've been talking shit. Mayweather ain't really been talking shit about Tank, but Tank has been talking a little more shit about Mayweather. But I think it also, from what I read, has to do with money as well, where he feel like Mayweather ain't been paying him. That's allegedly, but
I'm sure he could make more on his own. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So once he could take the Mayweather route once he's free from this contract, and he really gonna be self promotion.
Right. He can't be Mayweather under Mayweather.
Yeah, like yeah, he gonna have to run his own stuff. This is where he gonna make his money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be his fights are gonna be very, like, who he decides to fight is gonna be very important. Very, very important.
I want to see that Lomachenko fight. That's what I'm hoping for next.
Well, hopefully he give it to us. Hopefully we can take him out of the category of running from the good fights. And he might want to take himself out of that shit too. You know, he can't say
Mayweather. I think that's all Mayweather.
I get it. That's Mayweather's strategy. Right. But I'm just saying, like, and when he was fully under Mayweather, like, wasn't about to come out of his contract, et cetera, he was 100% behind him. Like, they asked him a question about it, like, you know, I believe in.
They got into it a couple times, but yeah, you are right. They got into it a couple times.
So we don't even know what type of. We kind of have that attitude towards him because of the Mayweather management, but shit, we don't even know if that's what he on. He might want all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it sounds like all the smoke. He said after he get out of this fight and he on his own, it's demon time. He said he want everybody with a belt.
Show me. That's my thing. Show me.
I think he good enough to do it though.
I think he's good enough.
From 140 down, I think there's nobody that's safe.
I just want to see him go after the people that we want to see him fight.
I agree with that. I do think he's been fighting below his. What's the word I'm looking for?
Ain't no scares. He ain't had no scare. Like, okay, who has he fought? And it was
that last fight, it was a rough one for him. He also broke his hand in the I think the 6th or the 7th round. But that Isaac Cruz fight, he ain't get rocked. If it's the one I saw,
if it's the one I saw, and I could have missed one, but the last one that I saw him in, it didn't look. It was like he had. That's the one where he had to turn it up at the end.
Where he went 12 rounds with.
Yeah, he had to turn it up at the end. He turned it up, but he had to really turn it up.
Yeah, he ain't. And listen. I know what that feels like, but he underestimated him as a whole in general, because that whole fight happened because he was supposed to fight the Rolly Romero dude then. But sexual allegations came out and they pulled him from the fight. He then got acquitted or whatever, not enough evidence, so they started to fight back up. So that's why he's fighting him for his last fight. But I don't know. I think it is gonna be a good one because Rolly is a knockout artist. He just doesn't have the technique Tank got, man. I think it's gonna be a damn near murder. I think it's gonna be a damn near murder in the ring.
Well, we shall see. And I'm sure whatever insight Mayweather has on Davis, he gonna give it to dude for studying purposes, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm sure of that too.
You know,
I'm definitely sure of that. But yeah, no, I don't got nothing else. So who's our hit the showers? I don't even know who.
Hit the showers. Let me think about this. Who done pissed me off?
I don't even.
Hold on, I probably got a few hit the showers if I really sit and think about it. I got one. Let me think if there's another one because somebody had made me angry the other day. I think it was Stephen A. Smith.
It's always Stephen A. Smith.
What did he do? He said something. Oh, yeah, I'll do my two hit the showers. So, speaking of the slap, which I have in the back of my as my background, he said something to the effect of bringing down other black men, basically. So basically, that's like what he said. Will Smith was doing with that,
right?
And I'm just like. Oh, he was talking about like using his platform, you know what I'm saying, to do that. He didn't like that. I'm just like, he should hit the showers because I feel like he uses his platform all the time to bring down black athletes all the time. So it's just like, okay, so you want them to be accountable for their, take into consideration the platform they have, but you're not recognizing the platform you have in sports and how you direct so much high intensity conversations towards black athletes.
Right.
So that was my hit the showers for him because I just felt like he was kind of being a hypocrite. And then my other hit the showers is the Lakers. Listen here. I love all the Lakers. Okay. I love every single one of you, especially LeBron. I really love LeBron. I should keep it for real. I love LeBron.
I fuck with LeBron.
But to see the reports of they're talking about keeping Russell next year, that's madness. That is madness. If they don't get rid of him,
that is madness.
If they don't get rid of him, and I like Russell, but he's not. This is not where he's supposed to be. I know he's from LA, probably home, probably living in his childhood home. You know what I'm saying? Get to see his friends and family all the time, but that is not where you need to be. Maybe you need to be a Clipper. Maybe you need to be a Clipper, but not a Laker.
Right.
So, with all that talent, and to not have talent, you know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about the Lakers. Like when I look at the team, I'm like, there's no talent here. I know they have LeBron, they have AD, but and then you got Melo coming off the bench. But besides that, where's the talent? Where's the talent? I look at the floor sometimes and I'm just like, this is so low level talent. You know what I'm saying? Like
just old.
So low level talent. And I can't even and with the Russell playing the way that he's played all season, it's low level talent. I have to throw him in that category as well, unfortunately. And I don't even like to do it because I do like Russell, but it's low level talent. It's too many people surrounding LeBron at this age that cannot do anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like can't shake. And I just don't.
That's his fault for being GM, for playing GM and player. Pick one.
Maybe. But at the same time, there is a GM. You know what I'm saying? And the GM has to know what's best for the team to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like if LeBron is not in that game, it looks rough.
No, you are right, you know about that.
Watching them play looks rough. So, to the Lakers for not making the playoffs. And
that is tough. That should be a hit the showers. I think I'm going to agree. I'm going to piggyback on your hit the showers. But my second half from that piggyback is going to go to. I'm gonna piggyback on you too, but I'm not just gonna give it to Stephen A. Smith. As I'm gonna give it to Stephen A. Smith's hairline. Your hairline is foul, and I think that's what generates his thoughts.
The reason,
right? He has a foul hairline,
reason.
which makes your thoughts foul, and everybody knows the bad apple spoils the bunch. So it fucking showers.
Stephen A.
Listen, you got anything to take us out?
Nothing to take us out. Nothing to take us out today.
Well, like, subscribe, share, troll, whatever you feel, do it. We'll catch y'all Wednesday. We out.
Peace.